Hello everyone, welcome back to SteamCode. This is the first part of our random HTML tutorial series. So we're just going to be creating random projects in HTML to help learn the concepts behind HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So this is episode number 1. If you have any ideas for future episodes, feel free to leave them down in the comment section down below. And let's get started. So we're going to need an index.html file first. So index.html. Before we write anything in it, let's just copy the path and paste it in here so we can actually see what we're doing as we're updating it. Now to get started with this index.html file, we're going to need to specify that it is an HTML file. So you need the doc type HTML as always. And then in the header, let's specify the title first. So title will be 1. Let's just call it 1. And let's save. As you can see, the title of the actual page changed. And let's link to a CSS file, which will style the it'll style the document as we choose to. So link rel equals style sheet, and the href will equal to main.css. We haven't created this file yet. We're going to do so in just a second. And let's link to our script. Our script will be app.js. We'll link to that as well. So let's create those two files right now, main.css and app.js. Now these are the three files we're going to need to basically create any app that we want to using HTML. So now we need to add stuff to the body to actually make it look like an actual web page. So let's add a title or a header. And the biggest header is h1, so we're going to use the h1 tag. Now let's say this is in HTML web page. So if we save that and then reload, as you can see, this h1 tag produced this is an HTML web page. If we copy and paste this and use the h2 tag, there are h tags going all the way up to h6, and they get smaller with each increase. So let's change this to h2. And let's say this is an h2 tag. As you can see, it's gotten smaller. Now we need to head into our CSS file if we want to actually make this look pretty and make it look presentable. So inside of our main.css, let's first just change the body. So you can just write down body and then curly braces. We want to change the background color. Let's change it to gray. If we save and then reload, as you can see, the background color has been turned to gray. Now let's change the h1 and the h2 text. So let's put these inside of classes so they're easier to use within CSS. So class is equal to header. Class is equal to header. And these classes within HTML are just ways that you can group different elements together. And so when you use CSS or JavaScript with HTML, it's very important to use classes and IDs so that it's easier to activate and access the tags that you want to and the elements that you want to within your web page. So we've just specified that the class for both of these is header. So now in order to use that class, we need a period to specify that what we're about to type is for a class. And the name of the class will be header. And let's just change how it looks. So the color, let's change it to white since the background is gray. Let's change the font family to Arial, Helvetica Sans Serif. Let's save. Let's see how this looks. Alright, it looks a little bit better. Now we want to center it. So margin we'll set to 0 auto. And let's save. Alright. And let's put this inside of a division. Let's call this division text. And divs are literally just what they say, divisions of code or divisions of elements. So they don't contain anything inherently, but you can put things inside of them to divide your page into different sections, and you can control those sections as you see fit. So we divided this into one section right here called text. And now we can edit that text section. So dot text, and let's say margin 0 auto as well for that. Let's save and see how it looks. All right, it looks the exact same. And let's set text align to center. If we save and then reload, as you can see, now it's been centered within the web page. So even if we resize the web page, the text is still right there in the center. So now let's add a button. So beneath this div, let's use the button tag. Let's set the ID of this button to button1. And let's save. So a small button appears. Let's set the value of this button to this is a button. Actually, sorry, that's not how you put the text inside of it. Let's just put the text right in between the brackets. This is a button. All right, perfect. And as you can see, when we click on this button, it does absolutely nothing. That's fine. We're going to do something with it later on. So now let's say hashtag to identify that we're about to specify an ID, button1. And let's do the same thing we did before. So let's set the margin to 0 auto. And let's set the padding to 10 pixels. As you can see, the padding just changed the spacing around the button. Let's set the border radius to 3 pixels. And the border radius just changed how rounded the edges look. And let's change the background color to azure. All right. So now it looks like we're getting places. And now I'll show you another feature of CSS, the hover feature. So for the text element, let's say dot text and then hover. So right now this is saying whenever we hover over anything that's part of the text class, let's change whatever its CSS is to whatever's inside of these curly brackets. So let's change the color of whatever we're hovering over inside of our text class to blue. Let's see how it looks. Sorry, we need to change the background color to blue, because right now we're specifying a div and not the actual h1 and h2 tags. So let's reload. And as you can see, the background color of the actual div changes. Now if we want to change the color of the actual h1 and h2 tags, we're going to need to specify them within our actual code. So h1 colon hover. And the color of that will change to, let's change to this color. So now when we hover over that, it changes to that color. Let's do the same thing for H2. H2, hover. Let's set the color to, let's set it to red. And as you can see, they change accordingly as we hover over them. Alright, so this is just a very brief overview of what you can do with HTML and CSS. We'll add JavaScript into the mix in future videos. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have any comments or questions on what you would like to see me add in future tutorials, just leave them down in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Check out our Discord, check out our GitHub, and check out our Patreon. They're all linked down in the description down below. And I will see you all next time.